You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. Friedrich Nietzsche.
Many people believe that life has some kind of higher meaning or purpose, that we are all here for a reason, and often they believe it's a good reason. This is especially true for religious or spiritual people who may believe that life is all part of God's divine plan, or that we are here to experience life and learn some spiritual lessons. But is this just a cope? Because as far as we can determine through reliable means such as science and logic, there is no higher meaning or purpose to life. The universe is just a cruel and uncaring void. Sure, some people say reality is bigger than the material world, and that there's some kind of spiritual dimension, and therefore there may be a higher meaning to life, and most often they say this meaning is good, as the opposite would be a hard pill to swallow. However, let's take a look at religion. There are thousands of religions and gods around the world and throughout time. Do they all converge on the same shared truths, meaning, and purpose, regardless of the location, culture, or time period? No, definitely not. In Christianity, the meaning of life is different than in Buddhism or Shintoism. I consider science and logic to be more reliable ways to prove things, albeit not infallible, because mathematics and physics are the same in Europe and China today and 100 years ago, whereas religions are very different and much more subjective depending on time, location, and culture. Even within Christianity itself, there are many denominations that interpret the Bible in very different ways. That said, I do think we can create our own meaning and purpose in this life. If you are somewhat smart, you could make advancing science your life's purpose and dedicate your time to studying physics or chemistry and even teach others, although I'd say we hairless apes have not so far been very responsible with how we have used science and technology. You could help people to understand reality through philosophy, which is part of what I'm trying to do as a meme philosopher. You could try to inspire people through art, such as by painting, composing music, making short films or videos, or even just funny memes on social media. You could try to reduce human and animal suffering by volunteering for a charity. There are certainly many ways to spend our time here on Earth that could be meaningful to ourselves, even if there is no higher meaning. But to address the title of the video, I'd say it's maybe a good thing that there is no higher meaning or purpose to life. Why though? Well, picture this situation. Now, I don't support procreation, but for the sake of the argument, let's say you bring a child into this world. At age 10, your child gets a very painful form of bone cancer and dies after a few rounds of chemotherapy, which causes them more terrible suffering. Nothing is learned or gained by this experience, it's a net loss. But if there is a so-called higher meaning to life, then it was all part of God's divine plan that your child suffers and dies, and you must live with the feeling of losing a loved one. This is absolutely a terrible plan. Personally, I couldn't morally justify hurting an innocent child or even an adult in this way as part of some greater good, especially if I were to be an all-powerful and all-good creator. Many religious people have to twist their brain into knots and live under cognitive dissonance to justify this type of evil being allowed to happen, while still maintaining their religious teachings that their God is all good and loving. That's if they even think deeply about it at all. However, if there is no creator, intelligent design, or divine plan, then all of this happened by chance. With this in mind, at least to me, it's easier to accept our unfortunate predicament. It still sucks, of course, but at least there is no cosmic tyrant torturing and abusing people for their own amusement or some kind of divine hobby project. Remember to like and subscribe, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and see you in the next video. Okay, thanks, bye.